Next news comes from the U.S. It's a hot topic around the world at the moment. On the 700 Club this week, Pat Robertson thinks that the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was reportedly killed, beheaded, and dismembered in a Saudi consulate in Turkey, is not worth jeopardizing a $100 billion worth of arms sales. He praised President Donald Trump's approach, who doubted the allegations against the Saudis.
Or do you want to give some background, like just a quick summary of this person that was killed in Saudi Arabia, just in case? I know most people already know the story, but just a really quick background.
Sure. So Jamal Khashoggi was a journalist. He operated out of the United States. He was brought back to. He was called up to the Turkey consulate. I'm sorry, to the to the Saudi consulate in Turkey, and he was supposed to be filling out some papers for his engagement, for his future wedding. His wife was waiting outside for him, and he never came out. And days went by before we found anything out about Jamal Khashoggi up until recently, and we found out that Saudi actually flew in two separate groups of people, one full of high-ranking intelligence officials from Saudi Arabia, and another one with a forensics crew and a bone saw and a doctor who specializes in autopsies, who brags about being able to dismember a body in 7 minutes or less. And then they cleaned up the scene. President Trump said that the Saudi prince denied the allegations, and the Saudi king denied the allegations. And so as of now, we would not be investigating until the Saudis wrapped up their investigation. So the United States president is waiting on the Saudis to investigate what the Saudis did to a journalist.
Yeah, so first of all, is killing this journalist for criticizing Saudi Arabia. It's not just about one man. It's about the fact that this is a government that thinks this is okay. It shows the entire standards of a country and how much they respect human rights. Okay, so this goes beyond just one man. This is about what this government in Saudi Arabia thinks is okay and think they can get away with, and this is a country that you should not be dealing with if you think that that's okay. So obviously it's not just about one man. Second of all, okay, if one man is not enough, I know people in the live chat are going to get bored from me saying this because I say this all the time. Saudi Arabia is a country that is responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of people, innocent civilians in Yemen. Is that good enough for you, Mr. Robertson, for us not to do 100 billion deals with Saudi Arabia? And guess what? This $100 billion arms sales that you're referring to went to killing those people. So if you don't care about one journalist, maybe you shouldn't do $100 billion worth of arms deal that is killing. The arms deal itself is killing thousands of more people, other people. How about not doing this arms deal because it's killing innocent people?
It's killing innocent people in Yemen all the time. Every bomb that's dropped on Yemen was bought and paid for by the United States.
Fucking hell. These are the Christians, by the way. This is the Christian values that these people, and these are exactly like the person said in the last chat. These, when they say atheists have no moral. This is forget the journalists for a second here. The $100 billion deal is killing people. You fucking moron. Jesus Christ. And this is when people say Christianity introduced us to human rights. Fucking bullshit. Right. Fucking bullshit.
That's right. Yeah, because of the Saudis, there's been a 37% increase in civilian casualties, not casualties, period, in civilian casualties just in 1 year. 778 people, innocent civilians, died in 1 year because of Saudi-led coalitions in one country, in Yemen.
Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit until this journalist died. You know why? And this journalist should not have died. But you know why it was this journalist? Because this journalist was an American resident, and he was working for American companies, and he went to cocktail parties with Americans, and he was known to Americans and other international. This one person's life mattered more than hundreds of thousands of Yemenis, because who gives a shit about Yemeni people, right? They don't even have oil, so fuck them. Right? But go on, sorry, Jim.
Adam in the comment section says, even though the death of a journalist is unjust and all of those people who have died is also unjust, but remember, Saudi Arabia is a U.S. ally. How do we deal with this? Well, Adam, I mean, you have to ask yourself, do we want an ally like Saudi Arabia? Like, yes, they are our number one customer, but what are we selling them? We are selling them innocent civilian lives.
Yeah, to answer Adam's questions, Saudi Arabia is a U.S. ally. How do we deal with this? This is how we deal with it. It needs to stop being a U.S. ally. Okay? It shouldn't be a U.S. ally. The fact that a country with such a poor human rights record is a U.S. ally, it's a shame to anybody, to the U.S. government. This will not go down in history very well. This is the fact that they managed to remain a U.S. ally is embarrassing. Let me see. Steve in the Facebook comments saying, I'm pretty sure Pat actually died 7 years ago, and the Evangelical right sent his body to Disney to have animators animatronics installed so they can control their base. Matt is saying Pat Robertson is isn't worth the shit on the bottom of my shoe. Veronica is saying he looks more dead than he did in the last picture I saw of him. He gets deader all the time. One day someone will realize he hasn't moved in a while, and they will finally get around to burying him. Okay. Let me see.
What another thing a lot of people don't know, Armin, is that about 2 months ago, Saudi Arabia cut off oil supplies to the United States because of our support for Israel. That's why our oil prices have gone up. That's why there's been a huge shock to that part of our oil economy. So with us talking about retaliation for Saudi, that's not going to help us with oil. So of course the United States government isn't going to say shit about this, because they don't want to fuck up our oil more than it already is.
Yeah, I can't wait for Saudi Arabia to run out of money. That's the only thing that will solve this. This is why we need renewable energies more than ever. The mad atheist is saying Saudi Arabia is our drug dealer. That's why we have let them get away with this stuff for decades. Stop mainlining oil. Soraya is saying true religion introduced us to human rights when people thought to explore opposite of discussing religion. Religion didn't introduce us actually to human rights. If you look at ancient history, philosophers were discussing ethics on a much more detailed and nuanced way, separate from religion, before religion claimed monopoly over ethics. Jeremy is saying, damn, I wanted to be a mod. Lucky you be. Okay, guys, if you're tagging Atheist Republic, make sure it's something about the news. Adam is saying, between you both and I concur with you, but I don't know how long it will take the American people or politicians to leave Saudi Arabia as an ally. As soon as they run out of money, that's when. And that's why renewable energies are key here. Will is saying, if the U.S. would get out of the Middle East, we wouldn't need allies like Saudi Arabia. Well, I don't think they need to get out of Middle East. I think if they want to be in the Middle East, they should be an advocate for human rights. Right now, they're not.
Atheist Republic's mission is to give atheists around the world a louder voice. In order for us to be able to continue the Atheist Republic, We need your help. If we reach 100 patrons, we'll finally be able to afford all our costs. Help us get there.